hello to Toni, all the way over in beautiful Venice, California. Oh my God, I so wish I was there. But hey, it's a beautiful sunny day in fine old England. Toni is this absolute angel that I've known for, 5, 6 years, something like that. And she was the woman who introduced me to the ASEA business and the Redox Signalling technology, which has been so incredible, and it has been really amazing for my own personal health as well. And so we thought, wow, we've even more so now than at any other time, we really, really need to get this message out to people, because it's wonderful health care that can really, really boost your immunity. And so what I wanted to do was just ask Toni to tell us a little bit more. I mean, just to let you know, before I started using ASEA, I was like a terrible insomniac. And after only 2 months of using the ASEA every day, I noticed that I was sleeping so much better. It was such a relief. And in my own life, it's helped elderly friends of mine who've had like terrible lesions on their legs and in their skin, and they had to get a dressing every like week, or otherwise it was going to go septic. And I told them to rub on the gel and drink the ASEA, and the lesion kind of went a bit red and angry, and its healing reaction then disappeared completely. And she couldn't believe it. She'd been laboring with it for 3 months, And I've also had feng shui clients of mine who have gone from depressed and listless to feeling like they've got their life back. And also one woman, the most memorable was, she's a shared friend now, actually, isn't she? So one woman, it saved her life, basically. She was misdiagnosed with adrenal fatigue when in fact it was mold poisoning, and she started taking the ASEA and she felt her energy start to return almost instantly, and so much so that she was able to continue in her search for her diagnosis. So this is really good stuff. Clearly we can't make any medical claims, but there's plenty of information for you to explore. So Toni, tell us in simple terms what the redox signaling molecules are and how they strengthen the body.
Okay. Well, thanks, Sarah, for having me on to share a little bit of this info, because you know how passionate I am about this. I've been here some time, so any opportunity to talk about it, I am there. And redox signaling is a very complex thing, yet it can be boiled down to something very, very simple. And what I think is profound is redox signaling molecules are in every cell of our body. And without them, we wouldn't be alive. Redox signaling molecules, are what's natively in our cells that is detecting damage in the body, and then it's signaling our cells to either do one of two things: to either repair itself or replace itself with a brand new healthy cell. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's fundamental to every function, everything that happens in our body, because if the cells aren't well, we're not well. Every organ, every system, everything is made up of cells, and if they're not functioning properly, we start to have some issues, or they're not repairing or replacing at a rate they did when we're younger. Then that's when we start seeing the signs of aging. When the damaged cells aren't being replaced, we see issues among one. You mentioned what's on top of everyone's mind right now is our immune system. And if our cells are not working properly, our immune system isn't working properly, our alert, our signaling is not working. So that's just touching on that, but it's very simple. It's repairing and replacing damaged cells in the body.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And often the most effective things are actually quite simple, aren't they? And I liked your point about how we're all born with a certain amount of the redox signaling molecules in our body, and when we're little, we're sort of running around and full of all these beautiful signaling molecules. And then as we get older, if we're not careful, we can accept a really suboptimal state of health, you know. And it's because these redox signaling molecules are dying and aren't as numerous as they used to be. And what I found was really interesting was that science has known about these for decades, but it was only recently that we could create them and have them kept outside of the human body by that molecular, we don't need to get into it, but it's that chemical unbonding and rebonding of the saline solution. They can suspend these molecules, and so they can stay alive outside of the human body, isn't it? So, and that's why we can drink the saline solution and get our little fill. And I love the analogy of, so we've got sickness going on in the body, or unease somewhere, and the signaling. But when you have too many toxins or something, it's like being on that old dial-up broadband. I mean, I still remember the days of that old internet, and so when you flood the body with these signaling molecules, it's like going from that to super fiber optic, loads of messages getting, you know, transmitted, and because the body naturally wants to heal itself, doesn't it? You know, and the Assayer, as far as I can see, always goes to the place where it's needed most. So that's quite interesting. It's very, very holistic, isn't it? And so, could you say specifically, or how does the redox signaling molecules support the immunity in terms of the master antioxidants?
Yeah, well, a few ways, but, you know, specifically speaking about the master antioxidants, when you're replenishing your body, because remember, it's not really supplementing the body, it's replenishing with what it's making, which is something very cool too. I think might be important to note that this goes beyond organic and natural. It's actually native to our bodies.
Yeah, nice point.
Without these babies. And so, you know, on top of mind right now about immune system, one of the things is antioxidants, and very large amounts of vitamin C is on top of everyone's awareness. And vitamin C is an antioxidant, and that's, you know, a supplementation of an antioxidant. That's kind of its category. When you have adequate redox signaling molecules in your body, our bodies are making the endogenous master antioxidants like glutathione and superoxide dismutase, which everyone's probably heard a lot about glutathione.
Yeah.
And when we're making it endogenously, naturally, that's like a 500 to 800% increase in antioxidant activity. And that's way off the charts when you start looking and comparing to other antioxidants.
Yeah, sure. Like acai berry or whatever it's called. Or...
Yeah, our master power. We're activating our master superhuman powers. So that's very, you know, that's in our immune system. And so is that really cool studies they did. Torrent Laboratories did a gene study and showed that it turns on our genes in the 5 major areas, one being immune system. So, you know, if you're considering things that will really help your immune system, you know, I invite you to take a look at this one because it's powerful.
Straight to the source. Yeah, fantastic. Cool. And you've been a business owner in this for like the last 9 years. What experiences have you seen? I mean, please share some that you're allowed to share without breaking any terrible kind of medical law or something.
Yeah, I mean, there literally are thousands. I mean, you can imagine when I hear things every day and you go over a period of years, I've heard everything, you know, and because everything in our body is made of cells, I've basically seen almost every kind of issue every issue that I've seen that somebody has used this to strengthen their bodies with has come back into a balance.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can look at, you know, cells, like you could look at
I mean, there's
as being, you know, a cellular breakdown. You could look at something
sorry,
like
sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry.
you could look at a rash on the skin, bumps on the skin as being a
Yeah.
cellular breakdown.
Yeah.
You could look at discomfort, you know, in your elbow, a swelling elbow as being a discomfort. You could look at, you know, bigger body breakdowns. You know, there's
So
many
injuries and
different things. They go from a mild discomfort to really serious.
yeah, yeah, and then injuries and injury recovery. I know that you've supplied a number of athletes, and they're grateful for that because they find they recover quicker, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and again, there's actually a Facebook group, isn't there, where people can post some testimonials as well, which is
Again, there's like thousands in there, and
yeah.
now we can talk about symptoms and how it's helped us in that way and how it strengthens, you know, our body's ability, because that's what it's doing. You know, it's all natural. You know, you won't see disease or names like that and, you know, anywhere, but you'll see the symptoms and figure it out.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the other thing to mention is that it's not always something. There's not just the redox signaling molecules in the sort of supplemental form that you drink. There's also the gel that is put on the skin, and there's also the beauty products, which are amazing. You know, the skincare regime, the foaming cleanser, the serum, and then the moisturizer. It's wonderful stuff, you know. And yeah, so we've only skimmed the surface of the science and the technology behind this. What resources would you suggest people read if they want to know more?
Well, there's a number of places. If somebody's deep into the science, a healthcare professional of any type, they will probably want to go to PubMed.gov and look at the peer-reviewed studies. They may want to go and Google Redox Signaling on Google Scholar. That's another place where a lot of professionals like to go. There's the Redox Doc.
Yeah.
.com website. That's very simply laid out for anybody. You don't need to be a health professional. It's not sifting through peer-reviewed studies.
I've read some of those peer-reviewed studies thinking, oh my
word. I know. And there's always the ASEAScience.com. You can find those studies. You can find them when I referred to and a number of other clinical studies there. And, you know, and you have a website too that's chock full of information. So I would welcome to go look there too.
Absolutely, yeah. And what has been your experience of being an say a distributor? I mean, what level of support do you experience?
Well, you know, it's kind of what you would expect from a company that's bringing out a technology that's this profound. You know, they had opportunities to sell this technology to the pharmaceutical companies, and they did not. They wanted to get it out to everyone, like you and I. And so, a company like that has a fantastic ethos. And there's, you know, and that spills down to the whole culture of the people involved. So there's a different culture than you would find in many businesses. It's a culture of you know, of being a force for good in the world. You know, that's always the top of mind, you know, and in the nonprofits that they support and, you know, daily operation. And so there's a lot of support and a culture of caring and being present with people. You know, it's above this mission of helping people, way above, you know, profits and that type of thing. So
Sure, sure.
that's the kind of people that are involved in this business. Again, that's why I'm so passionate about it. Maybe as or more, if it can be more passionate about it now than I was 9 years ago.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'd like to drop in is that it's not always just for kind of health issues, because I'm a pretty healthy, you know, fairly clean living woman, apart from the occasional glass of wine. Um,
Yeah.
um, but the reason why I continue to have it every month is because I find that it just gives me that little baseline kind of support, you know, and I also find that if I sort of double dose on it, I find that I feel spiritually uplifted. I feel like I'm so much more connected to my inner light and things like that, you know. Um, so particularly in this unique situation we find ourselves in globally, I feel that it could potentially give people that, just that little edge as well, even if you consider yourself to be quite healthy and doing the right stuff. You know, these native molecules, they don't get replaced, basically. There's nothing else, there's no other source of replenishing these. So it's pretty cool, and like you say, connects you to your superhero superhuman self, superheroine.
Yeah.
And if somebody, oh, and the other thing that I thought was great about this business is you get paid weekly, which is great. You know, you don't have to wait a whole month like some other businesses. You get paid weekly. There's the Acea Smart Wallet, which you can build up in, or you can transfer it to your account or whatever you want. So it's very flexible. And being in the Europe, I've noticed just how amazingly efficient they are. You know, literally place the order, or I mean, I'm on auto ship anyway, but sometimes I put in a supplemental order, probably 3 days, it's on my doorstep, maybe worst case scenario 5 days. It's so efficient. And yeah, I've only once, I think, had to contact customer services because everything works so streamlined, you know. If somebody, so basically, if somebody wanted to get their hands on this Acea right now, what do you think? Do you think they would want to become preferred customer instead of an associate? Do you want to distinguish the difference between those two?
Sure. Yeah, there's a few ways you can order. You can order as a customer or a member. If you order as a customer, you can always order retail and, you know, kind of grab and go, you know. If you can order as a preferred customer, and that enables you to get more wholesale pricing and
Yes.
earn rewards for free product and those types of things.
Mm,
So that's a very popular way to order.
yeah.
Like, people like to save money and like to earn points and free products and stuff.
Yeah.
If you order as a member, then you get added benefits, and then you're able to, you know, get paid for referring other people to use the
That's true.
technology too. So
Yeah. So it's just spreading the word, isn't it? You know, rather than wasting money on expensive ads and complicated kind of sales structures and whatnot. It's just word to, you know, word of mouth, and sharing positive experiences that people have had, really. So yeah, so thank you so much for your time. It's been quite a short interview, but you know, there's plenty of other information that people can get, and when we post this, what we'll do is we'll put a link in there below it as to the Acea website, and you can go and find out more. And I really hope that it helps somebody somewhere out there during this time, you know. So my thanks to you.